Yo guys, what's up? WQ here. Guys, if you're not an alpha gamer yet, hit that big red subscribe button. Become an alpha gamer today. You're gonna want to do this. It's gonna change your life. It's gonna change your gameplay. You're gonna become a better gameplay. You're gonna PB more times, more frequently in a year. You're gonna have better PBs. Become an alpha gamer today, guys. Now guys, let's go to some interesting stuff. So I've been gaming, alpha gaming for the past few months, and in the past 2 months specifically, big leaps, big moves I've been making. And one really big thing I learned recently, guys, everything I do is a big deal. It's pretty great. So big deal number one, I realized very recently, I don't believe in myself. What the hell are you saying, WQ? You don't believe in yourself? You, the true, original alpha gamer, who pretty much believes in himself more than anyone else in the world, doesn't believe himself? Are you kidding me? Are you serious? Yeah, it's not that simple. Obviously, I believe in myself extraordinarily. It doesn't come out in my gameplay though. That's what I'm afraid of, you know? I'm afraid I'm wrong, and so therefore I'm not able to maximize my gameplay. And that's why I've been struggling so much the past 7 months. When I originally got my 23-32 PB, I realized I could get the record, and I've always tried to get the record. That's always been what I wanted to get, right? And I realized I could have done that, and then I was like, that's why I froze up. I then froze up. I was like, oh no, I got all nervous. And what I did is I actually deflected, I deflected my skill into playstyles. I needed the proper playstyle to win. I needed a better playstyle, and that playstyle is gonna carry me. This is exactly the problem, and what that means by effect is actually, yeah, I don't believe in myself. The effect of that, quite obviously, I don't believe in myself at all, and I mean that's because I'm not taking who I am and what I am and maximizing that. Instead, what I'm doing is I'm trying to look for something that's not me and something I don't believe in and maximize that. And that's actually why I'm getting all these problems. And recently that all occurred to me, and I'm just like, wait a minute, screw that, I'm going back to who I am, who I really am. A real alpha gamer who makes really good YouTube videos and just dominates like the past. And it's like, wait a minute, I'm having way much more fun, I'm getting way better runs, everything's really turning up. And I'm going to explain to you guys actually some of the math, some of the theoretical gameplay that goes into figuring all that out, because I didn't figure that out simply by saying that and making sense, or simply by wondering or even guessing. There's actually a mathematical formula that proves that. And then also, I use natural gameplay. This is actually what macro natural gameplay is, and then I use macro natural gameplay, which is just natural gameplay. So I took natural gameplay and applied natural gameplay to itself, came up with macro natural gameplay, solves macro natural gameplay, no big deal. And then and then by effect, I realized I didn't believe in myself. Rather, by effect, what happened is I realized how I can believe in myself. All right, so now I actually can, on switch, on command, believe in myself completely by effect. So that's actually not important. Now that's actually important because it's entirely an effect, and I can do it on command, which is really great. It's the whole purpose of macro natural gameplay. I'm going to explain to you guys entirely what the hell that means. It's very powerful. So guys, this is the most big deal. Have you ever wondered how to optimize a complex system? You have a simple system. How do you optimize a simple system? Well, you just throw it into a algorithm, or what you do is you use some simple optimization techniques. It's not hard. Take a graph, look at a min-max on a graph. There's actual equations to find a maximum on a graph, right? And you can represent simple equations with graphs. So you get your graph, you find the maximum, there you go. That's how you optimize it. It's not hard. People have been doing it for thousands of years. So how do you optimize a complex system? So what is a complex system? Basically, a complex system, by definition of complex, means that you can't optimize it through simple means. So you have to it's complex, right? It's too complex. I can't optimize it. So which is like really, it's really troublesome. It's kind of annoying because I'm trying to optimize. You need to optimize it, and this is what gameplay is. How do you optimize gameplay? It's complex. You know, you can't just say, do this, it's faster, therefore it's better. That's not how it works, right? Because of things like anxiety, choking, nerves, not doing runs, not feeling good about yourself, real hand problems, real life problems, planning, organization. These problems make systems highly complex. And so what happens is oftentimes people will make like a theory task, and then they're like, look, this is technically faster, right? It's theoretically faster. I'm going to practice a lot, therefore I'm better. No, that's not true. If you get a better result, it's a reflection of you being a better player. But it doesn't mean you're a better player, and then more importantly, that's all you have. So if you, let's say you get a new PB, or let's say somebody doesn't get a new PB, they spend a year playing and they never get a new PB. They don't have anything. You know, there's nothing they can use with that. And so what happens is they can pretend they're a better player, and they use these techniques to pretend they're a better player, but there's no idea they're a better player. And if you get a PB, it's simply a reflection of that, of you being a better player. Still doesn't mean you're a better player. So how do you optimize the system? That's highly complicated. That's a really important question, because you can still optimize it, right? It's still a system. You can still optimize it, and people are still to have better skill levels than other players. So you obviously can optimize it. And this is what natural gameplay actually aims to optimize that. So and natural gameplay is actually a mathematical formula that is designed to optimize complex systems. So I'm not making this up. This isn't like natural gameplay. It solves human ego. Okay, that's great, but it's not about because it feels good. There's no such thing as mentality. I completely discarded any type of mentality. Completely discarded any kind of feel, opinion. I don't care about this crap, right? It's entirely mathematical. And that's the whole point of natural gameplay. And if you don't know what natural gameplay is, don't worry guys, keep asking, because I love explaining to you, and I have several videos. And I'm gonna keep explaining to you guys, because natural gameplay is really that important. The point is though, I applied natural gameplay to itself. I came up with this idea called macro natural gameplay. So macro natural gameplay, it's just natural gameplay, except it's applied to macro game. So what is macro game? And I think this is a question I've been asking myself a lot, but it's obvious to me now. Macro game is gameplay that's applied to the entire game instead of one specific interaction. So I think this is really interesting. What's the best strategy for a screen, right? And so what noobs will say is, well, this is frame faster. This is optimal frames. Therefore it's fastest, therefore it's the best strategy. And this is a question, how do you optimize the system when it's super complex? Because who says if it's faster, it's superior? If it's faster and it's too difficult, it's not so superior. If it's not consistent, it's likely not superior, right? What if it's very fast and it's very easy, but there's a strategy that's a frame slower, that's much easier and much more straightforward, or much more natural, right? I would argue that that's actually better, even if it's slower, because it's natural, right? Because the point is, if you do something that's kind of hard, or you do something that's not reliable, and you get nervous, actually, a lot of times you're actually worse off, because you got nervous or you did it, even if you get it, you're like, oh shit, my heart rate goes up, you're distracted, right? That's the problem. So that's why I actually argue the more natural something is, the more optimal it is. So that's the point. So, but let's say you just do that for one screen. That is natural gameplay. It's for one screen, though. It's one interaction. It's not macro game. It's just applied to the one thing. And you can do that to a bunch of different places. If you find movement strategies, it's still not macro, but you can apply that movement strategies to different parts of the game, which is very good. And you'll see a huge improvement. That's one way people improve. They just find movement, because movement, it goes everywhere. It's not just one thing, right? But it's still not macro game. So macro game would be like Playstyle, for example. So if you have a Playstyle, that's macro game, because it's literally gameplay applied to every aspect of the game. And there's different aspects of macro game, but it's the same problem. How do you optimize macro game? Because it's a highly complex system. And so what some people will say, they'll argue that not making mistakes is optimal, which I think is fine to people to argue that, right? And actually, yeah, mathematically, I can see how that's true. Like, you added the arithmetic. Oh, I did 10 things and I made 0 mistakes and I lost 1 second in each one. I lost 10 seconds. Versus perfect, right? Literally like task perfect. Okay, another player does 10 things. 9 of them he gets near perfectly. He loses 0.1 second. So he's only down 0.9 seconds. He's 9 seconds ahead of his competitor, right? But the last one he messes up, he loses a minute, right? So he loses. So, that's just a simple like, okay, so I guess not making errors is good. But again, we don't know this optimal. And this is what natural gameplay actually uses. This is how natural gameplay optimizes complex systems. And one way it does it is through something called belief systems. So that's belief systems are very important. And part of the way natural gameplay does it is it says, hey, if you just tell yourself something and you're like, okay, it's good, it sounds good, you don't believe in it, right? And that's very important. And this is how I actually deduced that I don't believe in myself, or I used to not believe in myself. in terms of gameplay, right? Because it's less about mentality, it's more about the mechanical, mathematical approach to gameplay than the mental aspect. I don't believe in this crap. I never have, and one reason I don't believe in mental crap is because it's all in effect anyway. It's all automatic, and you can't really change it, right? You can't just automatically change it, problem solves. That's not how it works. So I kind of throw that out of the window. The thing about beliefs, though, is that if you do something, you believe in it. So you actually can change a belief. You actually can define beliefs, and most beliefs that you can you can work with them much better. And one thing I realized that you believe in is if you want to do something, you believe in it, right? Because by definition, you want to do it, right? So if you want to do something, doesn't matter why, that means you believe in it. It means you believe it's a good idea. Another thing I learned is actually people always believe in what they think is the best thing, right? So you believe in what you think is the best thing. That's why you believe in it. That's why you want to do it, because it's optimal. That's why. So people actually pursue what is optimal, like by default, de facto. What people want to do, they think it's optimal. And so what that means is, think about it. Actually, it is in fact true that if you don't do exactly what you want to do, it means that you don't believe in yourself. Because, very simply, if you want to do something, it means you believe in it, because you want to do it. If you believe in it, you think it's optimal. So if you don't do what you want to do, you actually don't believe in yourself. And what you think, here's the trick, here's what comes into gameplay. The thing about gameplay is absolute. If you have better gameplay, you win, right? Mentality doesn't matter, your beliefs don't even matter. If you have the gameplay, you win. Gameplay is the reigning king. It's the reigning king of everything in the video game world, right? So if you have better gameplay, you win. So, but since you believe in yourself, or people pursue what's optimal, you should always do what you want to do, always. Because you think it's the best. So if you do something you don't want to do, you're actually assuming that you're wrong. And this is why I call it gameplay suicide. You're actually basically saying from the start that you lose. If you don't do exactly what you do at every point, you're basically saying you lose. Because you're assuming that you're wrong. You're assuming that you're wrong, and you can't assume that you're wrong because fundamentally you assume you're right? People assume they're right. That's why they do things. That's why they believe in things. They fundamentally assume they're right. So what? But if you don't do what you want to do, you're assuming you're wrong. This is why it's suicide, right? And this is why I think people fail and they choke and they quit and they lose. It's this problem, right? They don't believe in themselves completely by effect, right? Mathematically, they don't believe in themselves. Of course, these problems happen. So I think it's a really interesting way to look at it. And actually, I learned that recently. And another thing that's interesting about that, this is macro natural gameplay. So what I did there is I actually solved this complex system. What's the optimal playstyle? So I think optimal playstyle is just doing what you want to do, because that's what you believe in, right? And if you believe in it, therefore you think it's the best thing to do. So do it. That's what you have to do it, right? You have to do it. Because you fundamentally believe in it. The thing about beliefs is they're not random. You don't like roll dice and then you're like, okay, I believe in 3 and 4 or 5. No, the thing about beliefs is that you literally believe it because you think it's the best thing to do, right? And so what if you think the best thing to do is to do the worst thing, right? But you still think that's the best thing to do. And this is it's very interesting, it's very complex. This is what macro natural gameplay is, and this is how it solves a complex system, right? So the thing about gameplay is you don't actually know what you want deep down inside. Let's say you have suppressed beliefs. Sure, I agree. What if you actually aren't trying to do something, you actually don't care? Like all the liberals said Thanksgiving, and like every liberal 20-year-old and their like conservative parents who voted Trump are like hanging out, and it's just hilarious like how most liberals are completely lying to themselves. They don't actually believe in anti-Trump. Why would anybody be anti-Trump? I don't understand that. What has he done to any of us? I don't know the guy. Like none of us know the guy at all. We'll never know the guy. Like why in any world would you care about someone you'll never know, you'll never meet, and has greatly benefited the world economy? It doesn't make sense to me. But whatever the point is, these liberals, they're not actually anti-Trump, right? No one is in the right mind is anti-Trump. Maybe his worst enemy in high school. Did he go to high school? I'm pretty sure the guy was a millionaire growing up. I don't think he went to high school. So my point though is that they're lying to themselves, right? And that's what they're afraid of. And so what they do is they try and force the result. And so they'll say, well, if I do it, therefore I believed in myself, right? Not true. This is one of these errors in logic surrounding beliefs that mess people up. If you do something, it doesn't mean it's true. And so what they do is they'll say, okay, like the whole, misogyny issue, for example, or the racism issue, it's the same thing. I'm not a racist. They say I'm not a racist, right? Therefore I'm not a racist. That's not how it works, right? If you really weren't a racist, it's not up to you, right? It's deeply coded in your DNA. It's deeply coded in your belief system. It's not up to you, right? And so if you believed in yourself, you wouldn't care because you believe that you're doing the right thing because you automatically think you're doing the right thing, right? And so if you actually are doing the wrong thing, that sucks. But that's what happens is, that's what called gameplay. So the gameplay would expose you. And then hopefully what happens is you realize you're doing the wrong thing, and then you could grow and you profit. The problem is if you lie to yourself, you don't grow and profit because you can't be exposed for doing the wrong thing, right? But here's the same problem, you can't actually win either. See, actually, this is why it's suicide. It's a losing track no matter what, which is really unfortunate. The only way you could win is if you were so much better than someone else, and everybody else, actually, if you're so much better than everybody else that your gameplay was completely dominant, it's like almost certainly dominant. Problem with that is that you'd still lose to someone very good. You still can't improve. Like, you're still limiting yourself. Like, and this is why I call it ego theory, ego theory, right? Because this is what people will argue. Well, that's fine, If I'm so much better than everyone else, I don't need to believe in myself. Therefore, I can win, right? Okay, true. I think that's true. It's factually a true statement, actually, because gameplay comes down to gameplay, right? So, but the one problem with that is that this is why it's ego theory. What is the whole point of somebody doing that? That's coming down to their ego. Their selfish desire to win. They want to win, and they only care about winning. They don't actually care about the truth. They don't actually care about the pursuit of gameplay. They care about ego. And so, there you go. That's the problem, right? And so when someone decent comes along or good comes along, boom, they expose them. They blow them up. And you see this a lot in Melee, speedrunning. You don't really see it in League of Legends that much. You do in the global. Oh, globally you do. Worlds, League of Legends Worlds, every year the NA teams get exposed, yet we think we're so good. Nope, gameplay is absolute. Gameplay is absolute, and if you lose, you lose. Nothing else matters. And this is one thing I like. Whenever you hear people say, "I lost, but it was a good showing," no, it doesn't count. You lost. A good showing and a bad showing is equivalent. There's no difference, right? And if you lose, you lose. And it's like, I hate when people they take the results and then they twist them. And then they make them look way better than they are. And it's like, you can't. It's A or B. It's binary. It's completely binary. Yo, what's up, gamers? I'm in Rite Aid looking for some cranberry sauce. It's Thanksgiving. I'm giving thanks to the cranberries. And the store was closed next door, so now I'm looking for fucking cranberry sauce. All I can find is some alk. It's just some alk. Gonna get drunk as a skunk later. But no cranberries. Found some grapes. Found some grapes here. But I don't know if we can eat turkey with these. I'm not sure that's gonna work out. Can you guys fucking believe they're playing Christmas music? Like, what the hell is going on in the world? It's not Christmas, actually. It's fucking Thanksgiving. I found some cranberry juice. The OG cranberry juice. Maybe I just get that, and then Thanksgiving will be a little bit different. It's gonna be a little bit more ghetto this year, a little bit more ratchet. I'm at the mac and cheese aisle, and I saw some racist article on Huffington Post about how white people don't know how to eat mac and cheese. I'm like, well, there's a lot of mac and cheese. There's a lot of mac and cheese here. I mean, I know how to eat. I know how to eat mac and cheese, guys. Believe me. If there's one thing I know, it's how to eat mac and cheese, guys. You got Velveeta, shells and cheese. You got the youngest macaroni in the book. The youngest in the book. No cranberries though. I'm not seeing a lot of cranberries. I swear I'm in the worst fucking store in the whole country. There's nothing in the store. And before, they actually like upgraded it like 2 years ago. And before it was like joke stores. This is where like pieheads would come out and just throw shit at each other. Had like really high aisles and there was no one in here. And then they updated it. And there's still nobody in here. But they lowered the aisles. And apparently they got rid of all the cranberry sauce. Because I'm not very happy right now. I'm not finding any cranberry sauce, and I'm starting to get nervous. I'm starting to sweat a little bit. Yo, anyway, guys, thanks for watching. You have leveled up your gameplay. You have leveled up your brain structures, completely leveled up your mind, your processing, and what you're gonna do is become a god gamer. You're gonna become an alpha gamer. If you're not an alpha gamer, guys, hit the subscribe button and become an alpha gamer today. You're not gonna regret it. It's gonna change your life. It's already changed your gameplay. I know that. Anyway, guys, I'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Have a good day and have a good Thanksgiving. Guys, I'm running out of time. I might have to go home with some hot and spicy. Guys, I'm running out of time. I might have to go home with some Mountain Dew. Just call it a day. Yo, guys, I found what I'm looking for. That's a game changer. That's a fucking game changer right there. Some real cranberries.